So for the majority of Americans, the number one financial stress that they have is retirement planning. Yeah, that's number one. So here are some of the things that people worry about and a few ways that you might be able to deter that a little bit. So number one is that you're going to outlive your money in retirement. Now consider that 40% of Americans have less than $5,000 in retirement savings, and that can be a real cause of concern. So ways to combat this are to recruit a fiduciary, fee-only financial advisor and have them build a retirement plan for you and see if you can come up with something that's going to work, that's going to make sense for you. Now, obviously, a lot of you tuning in this channel are going to be into your 50s and your 60s, so you're not going to have a lot of time, but you can see maybe some possible ways to carve out a decent retirement for you in those later years. So anyway, go ahead, get a fiduciary fee-only financial advisor and see if they can help calm you down a little bit with the retirement planning. All right, number two is that your investments won't keep up with the growth that you need in your retirement plan. And that can be a reality. We went through the 2008 financial crisis in the early 2000s, was just horrible. And then again, there for a little while during the pandemic, the markets just crashed and it looked really bad. But if you were able to stay in the markets and keep your asset allocation, right, you probably came out of it in not too bad a shape. I know at least I did, and I'm hoping that most of you did too. So what do I mean by keeping your asset allocation correct? So that's the difference between your stocks and your bonds. When you're younger, you can afford to put more risk into the stock market. So you can invest more heavily in stocks than you do in bonds. And time is your friend when you're younger. So if you do hit one of those real bad dips, just ride it out, do some rebalancing if you need to, but you'll come out on the other side. Normally you'll come out just fine, as long as you don't panic and sell everything off. Now, on the flip side of the coin, if you're, in your 50s or your 60s and you're chasing after that and you're real heavy allocation, you're maybe 90% in stocks and 10% in bonds, and we hit one of these big dips, that can really hurt you. So as you get older, you want to be more conservative and try to get towards that 50-50 if you can. Me personally, I'm in a 60-40 because I need my money to work a little bit for me. You got to get your money to work in that compounding effect. If you're not getting the compounding effect, if you're just taking your money and sticking it in a mattress and expecting that little bit that the bank's going to pay you interest on to keep up with inflation and grow your money, I think you're going to be sadly mistaken. So you need that compounding effect. Okay, and number three is that medical expenses are going to deplete your retirement fund. And there can be some reality to that. 65-year-old single person is going to spend $157,500 on average between the time they're 65 and end of life on medical expenses. Now that includes all your medical premiums, your prescriptions, everything included in medical. If you're a couple and you're 65, you're going to spend $315,000 on average, now this is on average, on medical expenses. So it's a reality. So what can you do to combat that? You can make sure that your retirement plan has a budget line item in there that takes care of all of your medical expenses, and make sure it's not coming up too short. What we do is we have, of course, our medical insurance costs, our prescription costs, and then we also we take the full amount of our deductibles, of our in-network deductibles, like $5,000. So we put like $10,000 a year of that in there, and we put a lot of co-insurance in and things like that. And what we're finding is that we're pretty much right on track. And, I haven't done the planning out to see if it comes out to $315,000, but I would probably think that it would. So anyway, make sure that you're budgeted for that. Now, the other thing you want to do is help yourself out. And that means keeping up with your exercise, keeping your health as good as you can, and getting all those regular checkups from your physician, and make sure you stay up with those. And your physician may not always recommend those checkups, so figure out what you need. Get your colonoscopies done, get your blood work done once a year. Make sure that physical's done. Make sure they're checking out your heart every year. Get an x-ray on your lungs every year is a good idea. And your doctor is normally gonna go along with that treatment. But anyway, talk to your doctor, make sure you stay up with those checkups, and get plenty of exercise. Number 4 is, unfortunately, the death of a spouse. And the death of a spouse can have more than just emotional grief that comes with it. It can also have some financial impacts that are pretty drastic as well. Of course, the first thing that's affected is Social Security. So you're going to lose whatever benefit your spouse had when they pass, unfortunately. The other thing you're going to lose out on is your tax write-offs. And, when you go from filing jointly on your tax to filing single, that cuts that standard deduction about in half, which can cause some financial hardship. So go ahead. What can you do to combat some of this? Is you can take out a life insurance policy on both you and your spouse, and get with your financial advisor and build a tax cushion in there. Don't always figure that your taxes are going to be cut and dried on a hard line. You can go ahead and build a little bit of cushion in there, so if something does happen, you have life insurance, and you went ahead and made an adjustment in your taxes and your tax strategy for that. The tax strategy can come in different ways and look like maybe a higher Roth conversion, so you have more Roth funds to draw from, things like that. So get with your financial advisor, go ahead and get some life insurance if it makes you feel better, and those are some things you can do to combat that one. So I hope this video's helped you out. And if it has, go ahead and hit that like button and watch this video next.